I was going through a really, really tough breakup with my boyfriend, and that was really hard on me. Our relationship wasn't exactly the healthiest, and we just didn't know how to be of support for each other the right way because we didn't know how to be there for ourselves. So, with all that being said, I knew that I had to make a decision, and I had to decide whether I was going to stay and continue down this path where I could possibly get very, very sick and probably die early because how stressful it really was. Or I can make a decision and do something that was really scary for me because I didn't know what the future was going to look like without this person in my life. And I knew that since it was my choice, I could not blame myself for that decision. I really had to fully embrace it and go with it with love and compassion and forgiveness for whatever I choose to do. And I did. And that was really hard for me because it brought up a lot of my abandonment stuff from my biological parents, because I'm adopted from Russia. But I was ripped away literally from my mother's arms at age 6 years old, and I was placed in the orphanage. So that was really tough because that never really fully got resolved for me, and it definitely brought up a lot of those abandonment things for me. But I still did it. I knew that I had to do something, and that was when grace, God, energy, this beautiful love just rescued me. That's all I can say, is that I prayed because I just was in so much pain and I had nothing to lose at that point. So there was something that met me and showed me so much love, and I knew that in that moment that there was something bigger than me out there. So I made the decision, and like a week before I left, I gave up everything that I used to be. I gave up pretty much a lot of my friends. I gave up all of my comfort food that I used to run to because I just didn't want to feel my feelings. And I became a vegan. So I eat mostly fully raw, all fruits and vegetables. I don't eat any sugar, no gluten. Like, I don't consume alcohol at all anymore, and I have no desire to because it honestly just lowered my energy and my immune system, and I just didn't feel good afterwards anyway. So alcohol was not really that big of a deal for me. But and along with other things, my entire life just shifted because I was in so much pain, and I just felt it fully raw because I needed to. I knew that I had to make that choice for myself, and I needed to do it, and it was going to be really uncomfortable, but I knew that there was something that was with me. I knew because I felt it with me every single moment that I woke up in the crisis and the despair, that something was hugging me from the inside that was telling me that I am so loved and I will be just fine. And then every single morning I started to incorporate a deep spiritual practice. So when I finally left, I knew that I had to start introducing different things into my life, and I started doing my deep spiritual work. So I studied a lot of information, and aside from that, I did a lot of breath work. I started doing yoga. Every morning I would wake up at between 4:30 and 5:30, anywhere between that time frame, and I would get right to work. I didn't really allow my mind to make any sort of obstacles. So I really fell in love with that practice because I saw benefits right away. The moment I would wake up, and I still do, not would. The moment I wake up, I don't consume coffee or caffeine anymore. So because it just makes me feel very jittery when I really want to feel more calm and in control. And breathing and my heart rate gets too accelerated with coffee, so I have a compromise where I might have some tea with caffeine, but it's not as crazy. So, But when I wake up, first thing before my mind starts to come up with any sort of I can't or I don't want to or I just sit right down and I get right to my meditation, my deep breath work, and then I send a lot of healing to the entire world, to this planet, to even the hearts that have done things that seem to be unforgivable, just because we all need that type of love. We all have done things in our lives that we probably regret, but we just didn't know how to do or live any better than that, just because we've been programmed, we've been taught with recycled information from every single person that also didn't have any clue. So everybody deserves love and forgiveness. So I try and send that out as much as I can first thing in the morning, because that's when I'm the purest in my heart before anything else comes in. And then as soon as I'm done with my spiritual practice, I get right to my yoga. And my mornings are go, 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 but it's very internal, and I don't eat before I finish all of that stuff, because that is my time for me to deeply focus on what I'm doing. It's that conscious choice to really focus on those first steps that are important, because if I have those things laid out, done for me, then throughout the day I can accomplish way more. That's when I can really understand why my mind comes up with all the whys I can't, when if I just do it, I know that I can break that barrier, and I know that I'm setting a new limit for myself. So no, I don't regret anything that I have done and changed in my life, especially this year. This 2022, I already knew, I even had it journaled, that this was going to be a year of complete shift, because that beautiful hurt woman that I was a year ago does not really exist anymore. I don't know where she is, but honestly, I actually search for her sometimes, because I have so much more love to give to her, because I'm in a much more of a stable place where I understand where I was coming from, those hurt past selves, and I wish that I could be there with my past self and just hold her so tightly and give her all sorts of love and tell her that everything is going to be okay, because here I am, no idea how beautiful life truly is, and that it's nobody's fault. There's nobody to blame, there's nothing to really attach to, because we are so free. It's just our minds, it's our deprogramming that got us kind of messed up a little bit. We have something so beautiful in our lives that has always been there for us. We just forget, because we're so consumed in our own small, troubled world that our minds have created. When you really step out of that and you allow yourself to truly deeply feel the despair and feel that anger or feel that hurt or feel that deep surrender of I don't know how or I can't do it anymore, and you truly just let it all go, that's when something really magical happens. Because that's when I felt a deep calling and an answer that I am free and that I am deeply loved and that there's nothing that I need to fear, and that this is all about being here and being blessed, that there's this conscious attention that is fully on me by the thing that brought us here, to live, physically be here and experience everything with our physical senses, fully love and enjoy, so that way I can share it with others, so that way I can truly experience who I am in here. I mean, there's just so many layers to this, so I can't really get too much into depth with all of this because it's supposed to be a quick video, but so much love and so much gratitude has coursed through this body this year that I know 2023 is going to be like 2022. If I did all of that and I didn't name some things, 2023 is going to be a little bit smoother, and it's always peaks and valleys, and that's fine with me, because I know that in my happiest of days eventually I'm going to have a little bit of a time for me to go more internal, for me to be able to understand what is going on, where I can actually get to the peak again. And that's okay. I don't have to live in that state of bliss all the time, because in order for you to reach the state of bliss, you have to delve into the deeper, darker depths of who you are, or who you were programmed to be. Uncover this clear, beautiful heart that's just always been there for you. It all happened because of a relationship breakup, that I became a completely different human being. And a lot of that honestly had to do with my past from being in Russia, because I was in Russia for 10 years of my life, and then I was adopted when I was 10 years old and I came to America. So there's a lot of that stuff that I had to really solve and really delve into in 2022. And I'm really grateful that I did, because if it wasn't for all I don't know what I would be doing, but I know that God has had my back the entire time, and I'm so, so grateful for that. Because I just really wanted to speak from my heart this time, and really tell people that, you know, we all go through a lot of challenges, but don't run away from the challenges, because those challenges are the things that are going to create a really beautiful version of your true self, and then you can help someone else, because it can be challenging, but it's also very rewarding. So I love you all so much. I truly, truly do. I send everybody so much love and so much beautiful healing energy, and I hope that everybody's got a beautiful, blessed Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it is. But I am just really, really grateful.